Okay, everyone, welcome back. This is the demonstration of how to solve mole-mass stoichiometry problems. I'm using the same equation from the last video. We know that it's already balanced, so that's why I've got that little smiley face there. And my question is, if I start with 2 moles of potassium chloride, or KCl, how many grams of HCl will be produced? Well, right away, I notice that this problem is a little bit different. In this problem, I'm given moles, but I want grams. And in the problem before, I was given moles, and I wanted moles of something else. So now that I see this magic word grams, I have to think to myself, I have to calculate the molar mass of HCl. So in order to do that, you're going to need your chem helper, you're going to need your calculator. So why don't you put this on pause and go and get those, and then you can continue. To calculate the molar mass of HCl, I'm just going to add the atomic mass of hydrogen plus that of chlorine, which is 35.45. And when I add those two together, I get a molar mass of 36.46 grams. And remember that this 36.46 grams is equal to 1 mole of HCl. So we're going to be using that in our dimensional analysis grid. Okay, back to the problem. So just like with any stoichiometry problem, I'm going to start by writing down what I'm given. And in this problem, I'm given 2 moles of potassium chloride. So I'm going to write that here. 2 moles of potassium chloride. And I'm going to draw my dimensional analysis grid. The next step is to denote the unit, moles of potassium chloride. And now, in this, I'm starting with potassium chloride, but I want to end up with a totally different compound, HCl. Well, to do that, I need to use the mole ratio. So I know that 1 mole of potassium chloride, 3 moles of potassium chloride are equal to 3 moles of HCl. So in this case, we're not putting a 1 next to the moles of KCl. You always have to come up and double check what the coefficient is in the equation. Okay, right away I see that moles of KCl go away. They get canceled out, and I'm left here with moles of HCl. But I don't want moles of HCl. I want grams of HCl. So I'm going to make another section in my dimensional analysis grid, demote the unit. So now I have moles of HCl, and on top of that, I put grams of HCl. Well, right over here, I've already calculated the amount of grams of HCl that are in 1 mole of HCl. So I'm going to put that calculation here. 36.46 grams of HCl is equal to 1 mole of HCl. Mole of HCl goes away, and I'm left with what I'm looking for, grams of HCl. So I know that I'm done making my dimensional analysis grid. So now all I have to do is calculate. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 times 36.46. And when I do that, I get 218.76. And that is over 3 times 1, which is 3. And when I divide 218.76 by 3, I get an answer of 72.92 grams of HCl. So that is how you would solve a MoleMassStoich problem. So let's just go back over the different components of my grid here. In step A, I write the given. In step B, I write the mole ratio. And remember that these coefficients came from the equation. And then in step C, what I did is I changed moles to grams. I just want to make one further observation that here in step B, when you use the mole ratio, you're changing the conversation. We started with KCl, but here by using the mole ratio, we're able to switch from KCl to HCl and then finish out the problem. Okay, I have another problem down here. Let's look at this one. Again, I have the same equation, but I just have a different question. If I start with 10 grams of hydrogen phosphate, how many moles of potassium phosphate will I produce? So right away, I see that we have grams of H3PO4 is what's given to us. And since I've got grams of this compound, I know that I'm going to have to use the molar mass of that compound. So immediately calculate the molar mass. So I have 3 hydrogens, so that's 3 times 1.01, and I find that on the periodic table. I'm going to add that to the mass of phosphorus, and the mass of phosphorus is 30.97. And I'm going to add that to 4 times 16 for my 4 oxygens. When I add all of that together, I get a molar mass of 98 grams, which is equal to 1 mole of H3PO4. All right, I'm going to be using this shortly. But first, let's just take a look at what we're looking for. We want to find moles of K3PO4. So this is going to be going in the opposite direction from what we did in the equation above. Okay, so here we go. Just like with any other stoichiometry problem, we always start with what we're given. 10 grams of H3PO4, because that's what we were given. Demote the unit. So I've got grams of H3PO4. I'm going to put above that moles of H3PO4. So I've got a number here that I have to put next to grams. I'm going to come over here and use this equation that I set up just a moment ago. 98 grams of H3PO4 equals 1 mole of H3PO4. And that's what I'm going to put here. All right, I've got moles of H3PO4 at the top, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for moles of K3PO4. So I have to keep going. My grams of hydrogen phosphate go away, make another section, and remember, whenever you make another section, your first step is to demote the unit. Moles of H3PO4. And on top of that, because I can do this, because now I know what a mole ratio is, I'm going to put moles of the compound that I'm looking for. I'm looking for K3PO4. What numbers do I put here? I have to look at the equation. I'm comparing H3PO4 and K3PO4. Neither of those compounds have numbers in front of them. Therefore, I assume that we're using 1 mole of each. So I put 1 in each spot here. Moles of hydrogen phosphate go away, and I am left with moles of potassium phosphate on top. And that's exactly what I'm looking for in the problem. So now I can stop. My grid is finished. All I have to do now is multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply 10 times 1 times 1, which is simply 10. And on the bottom, 98 times 1 is 98. So to get my answer, I'm going to divide 10 by 98. And my answer is 0.10 moles of potassium phosphate. And that's my final answer. I hope that this helps you with your homework. One more video. I hope that you like it, because I don't know what else to say. I guess I'll give a shout out to my period 9 chemistry class. Hi everyone. I'll talk to you later.